All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Maley. I'm the Vice President of Operations and the Training and Education Coordinator with Property Panorama. Today's webinar is being recorded. You will be receiving a copy of it via email. I would say sometime first half of tomorrow. We'll have that up on YouTube and shared out to you. But before we get any further into the webinar itself, several of our MLS partners have requested that we place an antitrust statement at the beginning and end of each presentation. So let's just go ahead and go over that really quick. This event or meeting will focus on advancing the interests of real estate professionals and consumers of real estate services, increasing competition, reducing risk for all parties involved in real estate transactions, and sharing insights on business best practices. The following discussion topics are always prohibited: agreements to fix prices, limiting product or service offerings, allocating geographical territory or customers, and refusing to deal. Any discussion that is inconsistent with this policy will not be tolerated. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, again, my name is Chris Maley, Vice President of Operations with Property Panorama. I've been with the company for just about 9 years now. And I'd like to get things started by providing you a little bit of background information about who Property Panorama is, what we offer, and briefly summarize the products and services that are available to you. So, since introducing our platform to the industry, our mission's always been really simple, and that's to connect consumers directly to the listing agent. We're a digital marketing solution providing tools designed to help advertise listings and brands online. So we were established back in 2002. So the very early days of when real estate and internet started to intermingle. And we're currently integrated with more than 270 MLSs and associations. And that attributes to 1 million unique visitors per week on our website. So let's just take a quick overview of the products and services that you do receive before we go into how to use them. So first and foremost, you have the InstaView virtual tours. It's a fully automated digital marketing suite, and it provides you with virtual tours, flyers, postcards, listing videos, a digital portfolio, which is a landing page that'll host all of your active listing inventory. So if you don't already have your own personal website, it's a great tool that you can use to share all of your active inventory with just one URL. Additionally, uh, we're going to automatically create a virtual tour about an hour after you input it into the MLS, as long as the listing is active and you've uploaded at least 3 photos. Once you've done that, our system does its magic on the back end and automatically creates the materials for you. Just to give you a quick look at what the virtual tours look like on both desktop and mobile environments, you'll see that there's been a little bit of a change since last year. First and foremost, we've made it a lot more image centric. You can see on the desktop that, or the, I'm sorry, the laptop on your screen there, that it's large and in charge. That image is what the tour is all about. Yes, it's going to have your contact information built into it on the branded versions of the tour. Um, Most of you, though, will also have an unbranded version, and that gets attached to your MLS automatically for you. On the right-hand side, you see the mobile version. We've decided to go to a 3 image display on the mobile version just so we can maximize that mobile space. And then they'll change out one at a time, just like the virtual tour itself does, going from image to image. We've also added a quick access photo panel so consumers can scroll through the photos, enlarge them, and focus on the rooms that matter the most to them. Additionally, it does come with a Google Maps integration, so it'll highlight the region directly around the listing. Now, there is a more robust tool available, Neighborhood Insights. We'll be covering that a little bit closer to the end of the presentation because that is an additional charge. And then finally, what makes the InstaView virtual tour a one URL solution is the media site, the media page. This is where you can attach drone videos, Matterport tours, dollhouse tours, any single listing website that you may already have for your listing. You can put them all on this page. That way you only have to send one link to your clients. And then finally, I know we already talked about the contact and the uh, listing information pages, but this is what the contact tab looks like on the branded tour. It allows consumers to reach out to you directly through the email form, and that's going to get sent directly to your inbox. Additionally, we also have all of your contact information on the left-hand side. That way they can reach out to you via phone as well. And then that details page on the listing details, that's going to open up and give all of the information that's pulled directly from the MLS. So you have your listing information, your beds, your baths, everything that consumers are really wanting to know about the property. Moving on with the InstaView suite, we also have flyers and postcards. Those are automatically created. However, you do have the ability to customize your own flyers and postcards. That way, if you have an upcoming open house or if you wanted to send out a mailer, you can create them. You can create as many of them as you want for each listing. So you can get as creative as you want. Have fun with it. Really make it look good and send them out to potential consumers. And then this is what that landing page looks like, the digital portfolio. This is what will nest all of your active listings right on one page. Additionally, it also gives consumers another way to reach out and contact you directly. So instead of just showing you a still screenshot of this one, let's go ahead and look at what it actually does look like in real life. So this is one of our test accounts. So it is missing a couple of the tabs like the website and everything that would show up right underneath the contact me, as well as the social media icons. But if you input those into the digital portfolio, you can take people to any site that you want to. If it's your personal site, your Facebook business page, even your Instagram account, you can link them all directly within the digital portfolio editor. Scrolling on down the page, again, this will show your active listing inventory. If you have more than 6 listings, then all you would have to do is click on that View More Tours button that you see, and that's going to take you to the full active listing inventory. And then finally, moving on to the bottom of the page, this is where you can add testimonials, a biography about yourself, as well as adjust any of your contact information. Make sure that the way that you want to be reached is featured on this page. Additionally, something that we've added on within the last 3 months is we also now have single listing websites. So I'm actually going to take us back a step here. So it used to be when you'd click on more info, it would open the virtual tour. However, now it's going to open up a single listing website that does have the tour that can be played on that page. So it just makes it a little bit more informative for the consumers themselves. Make it a little bit more of a robust experience, if you will. But let's go ahead and jump on to some of our more common asked questions about those tours. How do you create the tour? It's really easy. All you have to do during your listing input is select yes for the following options. It's going to be internet display, or it may say display on internet or internet. Any of those options, make sure that that one's marked as yes. IDX does need to be turned on, so that also needs to be yes. And then finally, include InstaView Tour. Now, this field can vary a little bit from integration to integration. Some say include Property Panorama. Some will say create free virtual tour. Whatever field is for the virtual tour to make sure that it's created, just make sure that that one's marked as yes. Within that 1 hour time frame, your tour is going to be created and submitted back to your MLS to be attached to your listing. You're also going to receive an email from us with both the branded and the unbranded InstaView virtual tour links for your own use. Now, if you are part of a MLS that is on our subscription model, you're going to get a free version of the unbranded tour, first 5 images. However, you do have the opportunity to upgrade. We'll be covering that a little bit later in the presentation when I get to the billing section. But let's go ahead and jump over, since we're talking about that email, about ways that you can access your account. So first and foremost, that email that we just talked about is going to have a direct login link, but you also have a smart link nested right within your MLS. So if you go to your MLS and then log into, say, your Flex Matrix, whichever your provider is, we have a navigation path that's going to take you right to a smart link where you never need to use a username or password credentials with our site. That smart link will get you right into your account. All right. And again, since we're recording this, I will be getting you a copy of this so you can write down those navigational paths so you can remember those. But let's go ahead and jump into the members area so you can see how to really use these tools. So when you first log into your account, you're going to see the new member dashboard. We launched that just over a year ago. So if you're not familiar with it, I know a lot of people don't always have to log into their systems because everything's automated, but you'll see that there's a lot more functionality if you do log into your accounts, such as that digital portfolio up top. This is where you can get the link for it. Additionally, it's also where you can edit. You can even make customizations to your branded virtual tours. But first and foremost, you want to make sure that your branding is set. So your profile picture, your company logo, on this page, it's really easy. All you have to do is click directly on the image that you want to adjust. If you don't have one already uploaded, it's just going to say profile picture and it's going to say company logo. Just click right on the text and it's going to take you to a screen that allows you to upload the image that you want to use. Additionally, you're going to want to make sure that all of your phone numbers, your email addresses, those are all set up as well. That's handled on the account tab, which we're going to be going to next. But I just want to go ahead and get everything covered on the dashboard first. Up next, you do have, again, that digital portfolio, since I mentioned it, where you can share it. Now, this allows you to share it to multiple social media sites as well as copy the link. You can edit the digital portfolio, change the color theme, the images that are featured. You can change the layout. There's three different layouts currently on the system. We're actually working on creating a few more, especially now that we do have those single listing websites. And this is where you can get your statistics. So if anybody has ever viewed your digital portfolio, if they've left a lead through the contact form, you can check the statistics right from that button. And then finally, this is just a little information just to tell you the best use and best practices for the digital portfolio itself. Underneath that, you're going to have My Listings. Can be accessed two different ways. If it's one of your three most recent active listings, they're going to be in this quick access panel right here. However, if you do have more than three active listings, you can either go to My Listings from the left-hand menu or View More Listings from the button down here. That's going to take you to your full active listing inventory. On these ones, you'll see that it says licensed next to it. That means that they're upgraded, that they have the full virtual tour, both branded and unbranded experiences. Additionally, it'll also include the flyers, the postcards, the downloadable video. But that, like I say, if you don't see licensed, it's going to say upgrade, and that's going to take you directly to the store where you can purchase on a per listing level, or you can do our flat rate plans, which are available on a monthly or annual basis. We do have different pricing depending on the MLS agreement, so it never costs more than $10, or I'm sorry, $9.99 per month, or $109.89 per year for unlimited listings. Down below that is the promote button. That's how you can purchase an advertising campaign for your listing. So it'd be featured on the web and Facebook through those sponsored ads. You can also add in Instagram if you wanted to do so. We'll be diving a little bit deeper into that towards the end of the presentation, since again, that is an add-on service. Directly below the primary image of your listing, you're going to see four icons. The share icon is where you can go to get all of the links for the various materials that you can share. So that includes the branded and unbranded virtual tour links. It's also where you can share directly to social media via our one-click share. You can get your flyers and postcards there. You can also create them in there. You also have your downloadable MP4 video. Once that video is generated, you'll be able to download it from that page. You can also click and share that to YouTube. After that, you're going to have the media link section. That's where you can add in the URLs. And again, we'll be covering that here in just a minute. Over here, we have the tour manager. This is where you can edit the content of the virtual tour. Finally, the statistics. That is where you can get the listing specific to statistics. And then if you've created a PDF, it's going to be on this button right here. That's going to be a quick access for you to download it. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is statistics. Again, like I said, after each one of these, you do have that statistics button, or you can access it directly from the left-hand menu. And you can choose to do that by listing or by the entire account, which is going to take you to the digital portfolio. Settings and syndication, and that's where you can adjust the automatic syndication to Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. If you are a admin within your brokerage, you will also see this admin dashboard. That allows you to access the various accounts within the brokerage itself. So you can manage accounts for the other agents. But let's go ahead and slide over to that account page. This is where you're going to actually be able to adjust your email, your phone number, make sure that whatever phone number you want to have featured on your products is going to be in this first block here, marked correctly, and give it that primary checkbox. That primary checkbox is what makes sure that it's featured on each and every single material that you have in our system. Additionally, from this page, you can add your slogan, your personal website, your biography, and your testimonials. The biography and testimonials are going to carry forward over to your digital portfolio. There's also a spot to manage it in your digital portfolio as well, but we just try to make it all coincide together since you are already entering in your personal information here. The one item that you cannot change on this page is your username because that's tied directly to your license number, as well as the office information up here. That's pulled directly from the office account in the MLS. So any changes that are made in the MLS are going to automatically import to the system here. The next page that we're going to go ahead and jump on is the settings and syndication page. So again, that's from the left-hand menu where it says settings and syndication. This is where you can add YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn as an automatic syndication. So anytime you get a new listing, anytime you have a pricing change, that's where you would be getting those automatic pushes to your accounts. Likewise, you can also opt in or out of our email notifications from this page. And you can also set up your lead notifications to go to both your email address and your phone. The one thing I will say is that the SMS leads, those text leads, are only going to be the only thing that's going to your phone. We're not going to send you any of our promotions or anything like that to your phone. It's only when you get a lead. So if you opt into that. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the linking page. Now, this is that share icon that's directly below each listing. As I mentioned before, this is where you can get the branded and the unbranded links. You can do your one-click syndication in the upper right. This is where you can create your pro flyers, those flyers and postcards, just by clicking on that create button. It's going to give you several options. So once you click on create new on the next pop-up, all you have to do is select if you want a new listing, a reduced price, what type of flyer you want. Choose from one of the templates, and it's going to start you on your way and take you right into the editor to select your photos, as well as adjust the color themes if you needed to do so. Right below that, we have the listing video. As I mentioned, it takes about 20 minutes after the tour is created for that video to be generated. But you'll be able to either download it or share it to YouTube. Up next is a Turbo text sign writer. So if you wanted to place a sign writer at the property, you can do so by downloading it and taking it to your local print shop. And you would just need to put the Turbo text code that is directly above it in that field. We recommend using the 2.5 inch mailbox lettering. That way you can make the sign writer reusable. And that is actually a unique code, so it cannot be reused as far as the codes are concerned, which is why we recommend that mailbox lettering to use. Oop, I apologize, I didn't mean to do that. And then finally, the media link section. So this is again where you're going to add those additional links. So if you have a dollhouse tour, a Matterport, or a drone video, all you have to do is place the link in here, give it a title, and it's going to show up on that media page section on the branded virtual tour. Again, that's so you can just send out one URL and have all of your marketing materials in one spot. Going into the tour manager, this is how you can edit the tours. So it's that pad and pencil icon right underneath the listing. And as you can see, a lot of the fields on the first page are grayed out. The reason for that is because it's all pulled in from the MLS. So any of that core data, if it needs adjusted, it has to be adjusted in the MLS because we're pulling everything directly from the feed. Now, the two items on this page that can be adjusted are the branded tour description and the flyer description. The reason we don't allow for adjusting the unbranded description is because we want to make sure that everything on the unbranded tour is 100% MLS compliant. So we're submitting that back to the MLS to be attached. So that one is not editable, but everything else on this side is the branded and the flyer description. Now, there are some changes to our photo section. Again, any photos you have in the MLS automatically pulled in. However, if you wanted to add additional photos, give them labels, or something to that effect, that's where you're going to go to the add and manage photos. It's going to open up this screen. If you have additional photos that you want to add to the tour, you are more than welcome to do so by clicking on that upload button. If you have photos that overlap at least 10%, you can create panoramas right within this page by clicking on that create panorama in the upper right. And then if you wanted to adjust your labels or reorder the photos on the tour, you're able to do so as well. You would just click on the image that you need to adjust the label for, give it a new name, description, or if you needed to adjust the order of photos, it's all about click and drag. Click and drag them into the order that you want them to appear. If you wanted to adjust which image is featured on social media, select the image and mark it as your primary. That's what's going to be featured on your social media posts from Property Panorama moving forward for that listing. Moving on to the next step is our theme editor. So you can adjust the color theme of the tour itself. And we've actually streamlined this a lot since our last InstaView 3.0. This new system, when you click on the change theme, is going to take you to an example with each and every single one of the options you can adjust. So the header, the footer, the contact tab, the details tab, and then the background color, the photo panel. Gives you options to adjust the colors of the text and the area, as well as set the opacity. So as you can see kind of through that top header. That's because that opacity was set to 66% in this example. But once you're happy with all of your color changes, all you have to do is click on save. And then it's going to ask you if you want to use it as a primary for all of your tours. If you wanted to do so, you're more than welcome to. You can set it for just tours moving forward, or you could set it for all of your tours. The next section is where you're allowed, able to get your audio and your photo effects For audio, we have about 75 songs in our library. You are more than welcome to use any of those that you wish. As far as the photo effects, the Ken Burns, that's a zoom in, zoom out. If you want it on, just make sure that the checkbox is marked. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a slideshow. Now, with the audio, you also have the option to upload your own custom audio. This is where I'm going to kind of give the buyer beware speech. I know we all have probably hundreds of thousands of MP3s on our mobile devices or our computers, but you have to obtain the proper broadcast rights if you want to use it in a commercial setting. For that reason, we would recommend using something more along the lines of a royalty-free music that would give the same feel as the licensed music that you would want to use. Royalty free is typically available anywhere from $5 to $10 a song for lifetime use, whereas getting the commercial license for a popular song can cost thousands of dollars, hundreds to thousands of dollars. So it depends on the music that you want to use. But again, we have about 75 selections that you are free to use at no charge. So please feel free to peruse that library and make the most out of that. And then finally, the last screen, it's just a preview. Make sure that all of the changes that you made, look good to you, make you happy in regards to how it's representing your listing. So that is the members area in a nutshell. But we do have those two add-ons that I mentioned before. First and foremost, the neighborhood insights. So this is where you can add local content and local demographics directly to the virtual tour. By that, I mean you can feature the demographics where it's going to show average income in the area, employment, income brackets, total population, owners versus renters, the types of housing in the area, commute modes, spoken languages. So you have a lot of information that's packed into these demographics. And the best part is these demographics are hyper local. When you first open the map, you're going to see that it's zeroed into about 1.3 miles around the property, and then the consumer can expand it out. But it's giving you severely hyper local data in that instance when it first opens up. Likewise, you have the local content. So the local content gives you location scores, transportation scores, noise scores, even. But it'll lend itself to allow consumers to really get to know the neighborhood, how close the grocery stores are, how good the grocery stores are. Are they, do they have different markets? Do they have green spaces, parks? Do they have gyms, hospitals near the area? So it does give you a lot of information. So if you have a consumer that's potentially out of the area, it gives them a lot of insight to the neighborhood itself. So, like I did mention, this is an additional add-on. Neighborhood Insights by itself is $22 a month for unlimited listings or $225 per year. Again, unlimited listings. If you wanted to bundle this with the upgraded InstaView subscription, it's only $25 a month for Neighborhood Insights and InstaView. If you wanted to do it on the annual basis, it's only $250 for the year. So you're getting all of Neighborhood Insights, all of InstaView in one bundled price. Finally, we have the advertising aspect, Adtensify. This is our digital advertising that goes out on the web, social media, and it's designed to drive traffic directly to you as the listing agent. So it's going to advertise you, your brand, and your listings, drive traffic and exposure directly to your brand. It displays on all devices, so it doesn't matter if it's a tablet, a mobile phone, if it's a desktop, laptop. Additionally, we don't have any zip code restrictions. So there's plenty of advertising space out there. We don't want to say, oh, one person bought the zip code, it's sold out. No, because we're going to be hyper focusing not so much on the zip code itself, but more the behavior of the consumers in the area. So we're going to be able to pinpoint who's looking for a property, who's serious about it, who's looking at mortgage sites, who's looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, who's, really pinning down on the key aspects of purchasing a home within that area. And it's going to, in that turn, give you more qualified individuals viewing the property. So the sites that it goes to, this is just a handful. It really is. It's going to be available tens of thousands of sites. Why? Because it's following the people that are actively looking for real estate that we just covered. So it's going to follow them to the sites that they visit. So again, this is just a snapshot, a very small snapshot of some of the sites that it's featured on. But the key one on there is Facebook, because Facebook is included in every single campaign. Now, as far as reach is concerned, you can choose three different ways of targeting. The base method is a 15-mile radius around the listing. Sometimes you might want to advertise in areas outside of that range. So at that point, you would either go to three zip codes or a particular city of interest. If you are in a destination location and you wanted to advertise in, say, three northern cities, at that point in time, using three zip codes, one from each city, would probably get you the best reach. Whereas if you wanted to feature it in, say, one specific city, then you just want to jump down to that city of interest. Now, the reason we do restrict it down to that 15-mile radius or those three zip codes or one particular city, that's just so your advertising doesn't get watered down. You want to make sure that it's getting the maximum amount of exposure because it takes consumers anywhere from 5 to 7 times of seeing an advertisement before clicking on it. So we want to get that in front of those consumers multiple times just to be sure that you're getting the maximum amount of clicks possible. As far as pricing is concerned for the advertising, it starts at $59.99 for 1 week. If you go to our 2 week campaign, that's $118.99. But if you purchase 2 weeks or more, you get an additional week for free. So I'll give you the larger breakdown of the pricing. So at $118.99, you're actually getting 3 weeks, whereas 3 week campaign plus one free is at $149.99. And then 4 weeks plus the free is $199.99. Over on the right-hand side, if you wanted to purchase an agent campaign, which is not a listing specific, so it's just advertising you as an agent, those are available on monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annual basis. And that's just because it takes longer for those campaigns to get you really, really noticed. It takes a lot more instead of a house for those agent campaigns to really take hold and get that top of mind awareness that you're looking for. Now you'll see two prices over there on the right-hand side. That 199 that's X'd out, that's the base price. If you turn on the automatic renewal and let that renew, you're going to get 10% off. So that's that 179.10, and likewise throughout the rest of the pricing. Now, as I mentioned, all campaigns do include Facebook, but there is one more top off that you can get. At Tensify Plus, it allows you to get an additional 1,000 extra impressions on Facebook. So Facebook does have the highest click-through rate of any site. And on average, 2 billion users are averaging 40 minutes online per day, if not more. So this, again, this is just to bolster your Facebook. However, you can also add Instagram because that's not part of the base package into your campaign for $29.99 per week. Now, if your property is something you would like to reach maybe more of that 40 and under demographic, Instagram is a great tool. Just know that your how your demographics work on those social media sites. It tends to be 40 and under for the Instagram. So it's a great tool to get in front of them, especially since it's the number one social network for products and services. So engagement's going to be 58 times as of this check. I want to say it's almost 62% now. Last time I personally checked. So engagement's over 60% more likely on Instagram because you get the likes, the shares, the follows, and all that. But again, that's in our Adtensify Plus uh, adds on to those Adtensify campaigns, gives you that additional exposure. But that does bring us to the end of the presentation at this point in time. Before I jump over to the antitrust statement, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A tab. I will be happy to go through and answer them for you. But let's go ahead and just jump back and get to that antitrust really quick. Again, this meeting will focus on advancing the interests of real estate professionals and consumers, increasing competition, reducing risk for all parties involved in real estate transactions, and sharing insights on business best practices. And we never talked about any of the prohibited items there of agreements to fix prices, limiting products or service offerings, allocating geographical territory or customers, and refusing to deal. So, before I wrap things up, I would again like to thank you all for joining today's webinar. Uh, I would also like to invite you to follow our blog at blog.propertypanorama.com. We do have some big news coming in the upcoming weeks, including video ads. So, right now, the ads are static images, but we're going to have a new video ad product. So, keep your eyes on your emails for that. Additionally, we do have our training videos available on youtube.com/property panorama. That also includes all of our past webinar Wednesdays and Tech Tuesdays. The Tech Tuesday topics tend to be a little bit more narrowly focused, whereas our Wednesday ones are more broadly focused on our system. And then if you require any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's at support@propertypanorama.com, or you can call 440-290-2200, and that's option one for InstaView or option two for Adtensify. Again, I do want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules today, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and a wonderful and successful weekend.